Hello. Everyone knows that fate can sometimes bring us some unpleasant surprises. Even if you are very good at your job, you should always be careful. I'm sure this story will impress you, and maybe it can serve a lesson for somebody. This story is about Iwa Wisniewska. She was the top female paraglider in the world. On 14 February 2007, she was standing with 200 fellow paragliders on Mount Bora in New South Wales, Australia. They all were going to launch off as part of their training for the next week's Paragliding World Championship. In spite of weather reports heralding the presence of violent thunderstorms, all the paragliders prepared to take off, not expecting what would soon happen. Of course, the paragliders had been cautioned, and Iwa set her GPS tracker. The clouds didn't look so bad at first glance. So, the woman launched herself into the air. On the ground, some members of the team followed in a van to track her progress, checking in with her via radio from time to time. Being in the sky, Iwa saw the storm clouds. Many other paragliders behind and around Iwa identified the risk and decided to land. But Iwa didn't give up and continued her flight. Up in the sky, she was trying to avoid the clouds. And then the terrifying happened. She was sucked up into the storm's updraft. Inside the cloud, Iwa was strapped into her paraglider, hurtling upward like a rocket. The storm was lifting her at a rate of 60 feet per second. And she was completely and utterly powerless to break out of the wind tunnel. By the way, Iwa could no longer see anything. She could only guess what was happening around her through the colossal rip of the blinding winds. Miraculously, she managed to get a desperate phone call to the ground crew, saying she couldn't see. Then, the line cut off. It became incredibly cold. She was gaining altitude and there was nothing she could possibly do to stop the glider from rising. Thousands of feet in the sky, Iwa blacked out. There was lack of oxygen. The air at her altitude was 50 degrees below zero. Each minute that passed increased the chance that the woman would die in the stratosphere. But suddenly something snapped. The wing of Iwa's paraglider broke from the weight of the ice that had collected on it. Iwa began to fall. She was still unconscious, not realizing what was happening. Suddenly, without any reason, after Iwa had been free falling almost 2 miles, her glider opened up entirely by itself, and its wing straightened back out. This woke her up. Her mind started to reanimate, but she could barely move her joints. Somehow, Iwa managed to slowly reach out her limp hands and grasp the handles and brakes on her glider. Though she was numb from cold and barely able to think, she maneuvered just enough to steady its course. She crash-landed her glider into an open field, about 1,500 feet from a farmhouse. At that moment, she knew she's alive. Soon Iwa's team reached her and brought to the hospital. After a while, she felt fine, and this was a real miracle. Everyone was interested how high Iwa raised in the sky. The woman told that her GPS tracked her all the time, and according to it, she ascended to a height of 32,634 feet. No human being on Earth had ever been at those altitudes unprotected and survived. But she handled this, and we can call her a real-life hero.